Welcome back to the Fox Robbins Business Show. Come on in and sit a while.
Sure, why not?
We're already
Don't need to
sitting.
stand there.
The Fox Robbins Business Show, all about small business affairs, whether you're just thinking about small business or you're into it. And we are here to encourage, we're cheerleaders, and we want you to be successful and happy.
With bad legs.
I want to see that.
And we want to develop your very best business ideas, your best thinking on small business. And this is the second episode of 2 episodes with Adrienne Baumann with regard to email marketing, because it's so very important for small business. And I'm the co-host, Bill Fox, and the other co-host, though, is, get this guy is enlivening, he's evocative, and he's inflammable. Coach Robbins.
Good, then I could take up smoking, which I've never done. I'm not worried.
I wouldn't
Going up in
recommend
flames.
that. No, don't do that.
Yeah.
The coach, day in and day out, when he's not watching his investment account, he's meeting with and encouraging small business people, whether they have just an idea at the idea stage, or in the startup stage, or the business is up and running and downstream, but looking to change, succeed, grow, get into new markets, new products, import, export, whatever you're doing, he's there to give you advice and direction.
I'm there to help you grow your business.
And
Started to grow it.
Adrienne, our guest, Adrienne Baumann, we've had her on previously. She's an expert in marketing, which marketing is a big word. And
It's
so
a
that
very
means
broad
that
subject.
she is an expert about almost everything under the sun.
Almost.
And Adrienne, this is the second of an episode on email. Would you please just give us a briefly, what did we say in the first episode?
Sure. Previously on the Fox Robbins Business Show, we spoke about
That was pretty
email
good.
marketing. So what we covered was the importance of using email as a marketing tool for your small business or any business, because email is still the #1 way to reach your customers. Most people, 91% of them, are checking their email on a mobile device. 80-odd% of them are checking it frequently throughout the day. So email is still king, queen, emperor,
Right.
and
All
reigns
of the czar,
supreme.
all of the above.
All of the above. So we talked about generating good content, making sure that your email marketing is recognizable, matches your branding. We really discussed the importance of using a recognizable from, name, and subject heading. And then we stopped when we were talking about measuring the results. So we spoke about people opting out and not opening it, or maybe opening it, taking the clicks and following through. And now we're gonna jump back into reading those metrics and making decisions based on what your data has told you. So when you have low open rates and low click-throughs, you want to find out what's working and what's not working. So what happened if they didn't open it? Was it your name? Was it not recognizable? Was your subject line drab
That's number one.
and
Who
boring?
am I getting this email from?
Exactly. Was it the subject line didn't work well, or was it the time of day or the day of the week that you sent it?
In that order, too.
And the same thing with the low clicks.
Yep.
Was this call to action not clear? Was it not strong? Was it too long? Was it buried way down in a lot of content in the mail? Or was it not targeted to the right audience,
Right.
of your own audience? So making decisions on high metrics, great, it worked really well. Well, maybe this day and this time is the sweet spot. Let's keep it there.
Right.
What were these great keywords that I used?
Yep.
Was that interesting? Or was this particular segment that I sent it to highly engaged
Right.
email recipients already? And if you got a lot of clicks, what was that?
Why?
Was it the button? Was it the color of the button? The placement of the button? Was it not a button? Was there the link to specific content? Was that what it was? Or you segmented it to people who highly engage with your clicks? So all those things to think about. So for small business, marketing is obviously important. It always comes down to relationships. We are, after all, humans, mostly. When we're behind our devices, we're human.
Yep.
You're delivering on your promise.
Yep.
Well,
And you're
we've
getting
done
those
shows
measurable
previously
results.
where the coach has stressed over and over and again, that this the cost of running a business and keeping and customers and having repeat customers
And building good customer relationships.
versus the cost, the time, and the cost,
And
and
what
the
we're talking-
difficulty of gaining a brand new customer. I mean,
It costs
sure,
a
you
lot
have
of
to
money.
do both, but nurturing and keeping customers coming back is
Absolutely.
very important.
They're your most profitable because they're already there. They're already walking in
Exactly.
your door. But even more importantly, and what we're talking about here is not just building customer relationships, but being engaged with and having the customer engage with our brand, our company. And now they're out there as evangelists for our company too.
Exactly.
We don't even have to pay them. They're
No.
free salespeople, and they're saying, "You don't buy from ABC? Are you kidding? Boy, they're great. I love their this and their that. You should get their
And that is
e-newsletter."
the absolute best marketing you can get. You can't buy that.
No,
If it's an authentic testimony,
I
you are going to
love-
trust what I tell you about my brand
because
experience
we're friends,
versus what
and
the
you
brand
say, "Oh,
tells
really?
you.
I've got to give that a shot." Yeah, You're
Exactly.
an evangelist. You're free, and boy, I'll tell you, that's where the profits come from. And last time I
true.
checked, we're in business to make a profit.
Mostly.
Well,
Yeah.
marketing, create value, capture value. Don't forget that part.
And deliver the value.
You got to deliver it.
Got to deliver the value.
Got to promote it.
So just wrapping up why you have the advantage as a small business, because as you said, you are connected to your customers. You have those relationships. So to get started with your email marketing is to get your contact list together. If
Right.
you already have a contact list, you do want to scrub it, meaning to see which emails are bouncing.
Yeah.
Make sure they're still accurate.
Valid. Take them off if they're
You
not.
can always send out an email that goes to all of your contacts to just say, we're updating. Here's an opportunity to make any changes.
Right.
with
And that's
your-
another good touch point for you. You know, we're just trying to serve you.
Yeah,
Right.
and it's like we love you and we want to make sure you're still
And you still love us?
love us. And then if your email address is no longer valid, well, let's
Okay.
get it out of here.
Right.
So getting the list together, making that first email and sending it off into the world and seeing what happens,
Right.
measuring that data. We
I was
talked-
saying about building that contact list, there's no forgiveness on email addresses. I mean, just one letter, or you forget an underscore if there's
Yes.
or there's a dot, or there's a period, or all that
That
stuff,
allows, yeah.
But there's zero forgiveness.
No,
So it's
that's
got to be
correct.
right. And little things. I mean, you said you were at your store and you asked someone to sign up. You write down the email address better, but have someone have your customer write it down. That may be a problem because it may be
Yeah, illegible.
not legible,
Yeah.
or mistakes.
Right.
I mean, you want to. I'm just thinking if I ask for your email, I would prefer you tell me and I'll write it down,
Yeah.
and I'll ask you and say, was that ADRIE, and then was that two N's?
Right.
I mean, I'm mindful of that, and I think that you should be too. An email.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, it'll bounce. Like you said, it's got to
Yeah.
be exact.
Well, if it's not exact, you can have some serious problems, like if you spelled it with, Adrienne with one N and everything else was the same as somebody else's email, and now they're going to receive an email from you that they didn't subscribe
And
to,
that's spam.
and they're going to mark it as spam,
Right.
and that's going to start affecting your
That's right.
deliverability.
That's right.
So you do want to make sure. If it's something simple, I figure if it's after the @ symbol, you can make those changes if you inverted the I and the A in Gmail, which happens a lot.
It's MAIL, GMAIL.
Or a lot
Yeah,
of
those
times
are
I
easy,
see
yeah.
people forget to enter the .com.
Yeah,
so they're
right.
just like, it's just blah at Gmail. Well, you gotta put that .com
You
on
gotta
there.
put it. It's gotta
So
be
simple
exact.
things like that you can correct. If it's before the @ symbol, I always recommend you also collect a phone number when you're collecting email addresses.
Right.
For
Oh,
that
yeah,
exact
I see.
reason.
Yeah, right.
Then I can call and say, hey,
You can even text.
you
it's a
signed up
mobile.
and it bounced back. I just want to make sure I have this
Right.
correct.
And I want to make sure you still would like to opt in. Yes, I would, and yes, you spelled Cliff wrong. There's 4 F's.
4 F's, Cliff, with a PH.
Right.
And
So that's the contact information, but I want to talk a little bit more about the types of content, particularly.
Content. We, in the first show, mentioned content as king and queen.
Exactly.
And czar and emperor and all of the above, right?
So when you're sending an email, it's very tempting to go back to the old mindset of marketing speak and you're making it like a commercial or an ad. You absolutely don't want to do that. You want to be sure to make the content relevant to the reader.
Right.
So what is of interest? So it's about them, not you.
Right.
Right, and that is a huge issue. I see a lot. I still get a lot of those emails
That's a
that
huge
are
mistake people make, yeah.
right, because I don't want to be sold to every time I open your email.
Nobody
I'm not.
wants to be sold to.
We fast forward through the commercials
Right.
when we
If we can.
don't tell the advertisers we do that.
They
but
know that. That's why when you're downloading certain shows that you want to watch on the search, they say fast forward's not allowed here
Right.
because we want you to watch our commercial.
right, because
Yeah.
of those advertisers, we're able to watch those.
I mean, the only
shows.
place I watch commercials is at the Super Bowl.
because those are worthwhile.
Those are
right?
cute and interesting, and the rest of the
Well, I
year,
think
right?
that content,
I go get some soda water.
what did you tell us about content?
Well, I think we whizzed right through it.
We did?
I think I saw one. Yeah, go forward some more. But the point of the content, again, it has to be relevant to me, the reader.
Right, right.
So
Something
my
I'm
job is
interested
not here to grow your business. That's your job.
Right.
Your job is to improve my life in
Right.
whatever way it is. Whatever it is that you do,
What
how is it going to benefit me?
What's
Are you
gonna benefit?
educating me? Are you entertaining me in
Right.
some way? Making it funny. Yeah, these types of things are the
I mean, look at what Geico's
Create
done
great content.
with their promotion on TV.
Yes.
I mean, it's it's cute, it's funny, it is entertaining, but they always send the same message too.
15 minutes.
15 minutes can
And
save
everybody
you
knows
15%.
that.
Everybody knows that. And look what Budweiser's doing now. Bud Light, dilly dilly.
Right.
And everybody's talking about it, and that's it's fun and it's entertaining, and you can do the same thing with email.
Exactly.
It should be informative, something I, as the recipient, want to read, or entertaining, quite frankly.
And entertaining goes a long way.
It does.
And even if you include that with your content.
Yeah.
You could have your really important message, whatever that is, something humorous.
Yeah.
That'll
Well,
keep
people
them
like to
coming
laugh.
back.
People,
exactly.
Humor's
And
good.
something that's going to relate. You want to be relatable
You said,
to your
You're
customers.
saying you turn questions into content. How do you, what would you do there?
Well, that was this example when we were talking about, let me get back to that. Did it not go? That was before this. So some questions that are frequently asked in your business, maybe we don't have it in here. I know we did that. We talked the example of how do I keep my pipes from freezing this winter? And so if you're the plumber, you can say the subject is 5 ways to prevent your pipes from bursting.
Right.
So the types of things that people may ask you anyway, or that you really want to inform them of, think of us this winter if you have a flood or snow damage or anything like that. Well, you don't want to make people nervous and anticipate that, but it could be, ways to prevent this, that, and the other. So I'm thinking of like a disaster response or the emergency cleanup.
Right.
Folks, like if
The way I explain what's important to me when I'm reading, and I want you to speak to what's important to me when you send me an email, is if I get an email from one of the golf websites that I have opted in, because I like to read those things, if it says to me, here's how you cure your slice, I don't slice, so I just click it off. But if the next one came in and says, here's how you cure your duck hook, I go, well, I better read that.
But at the same time, you might want to read about the slice. There might be something else
if
in
I
there.
did, yeah.
And then you can help your buddy when you're out
That's right,
golfing.
yeah.
Well,
I
it's
don't want to help them. I've got a Nassar against them. I hope they're not reading how to get rid of this slice.
all this is part of it's part of a whole new attitude set that in the past, you did advertising. You were in the yellow pages of the magazine or the newspaper or a billboard, wherever you were, say, here's a product, buy it. Here's a service, buy it. Today, it's building a relation. It's a different attitude.
Absolutely.
And you got to get in the attitude. Be friendly, be informative, be interesting, be,
Trust.
Engaging.
build trust.
Trust.
So if you don't have that attitude going into it, you're going to have lousy emails anyway, and you're going to get clicked out, opted out, or whatever. So get with it.
Exactly.
True.
And like we talked about, you're more likely to trust my testimonial telling you that, yes, I love like My Pillow.
Yeah.
Right? Can we use that as an example? You see the commercials all the time.
Yeah.
Right? My Pillow, My Pillow. But you don't know really is it going to work for you. But I ended up, mentioning it to one of my coworkers. Oh yes, we have it, we love it. Okay. And a couple other people and a couple other people.
Yeah.
Finally, I've had enough people that I know and I trust that were vouching for it that I went ahead and bought it.
That's right.
And now I love it, and
They
I would
were
tell
the
you.
evangelists for it, and you're going to believe them before you even believe the people from My Pillow.
Absolutely.
That's for sure.
Absolutely. And
So
that's
make
where
them-
your content can work the same way. If you mentioned, helping with your slice.
Right.
If that actually worked, and you followed that advice and
Yeah.
it improved your game,
Yeah.
you'd be more likely to share that.
Yeah, tell you know
you
what
would
you
share
need to
that
do?
content.
Sure. Right.
So
But
make
like I
it,
said, if I'm playing against the opponent and he slices, I don't want to help him.
No, of course
No,
not.
I'm going to take his money.
You also mentioned on here
It's competitive.
the 10 ways to increase event attendance. When you have that open house or a blowout special, and you have events.
Right, well, there's a
and
lot of
that-
ways that you can market your events for sure. But again, if you're already attending that event because you're a fan of the product or of the company,
Right.
particularly, this is a lot for nonprofits. There's fundraising events, especially on our market on the Cape and Islands.
Boy.
There's fundraising events happening every day of the week, pretty
Right.
much. So, yes, I believe in this cause and that cause and that cause, but which one can I actually go to?
Right.
Or which one do I really want to go to because of what's happening
Right.
there?
Right.
Is there a great
What's the content?
guest? What is the content of the event?
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
So if that was your subject heading, why are you going to come to our event? Well, come support our cause. Well, I already support your cause.
That's pretty broad.
But if Cliff Robbins is going to be at your event,
Ooh,
yes,
they're going to
sign me up for that one.
Because I'm incandescent? No, that was the first show.
Yeah, you're inflammable.
Inflammable. I was inflammable in this
Which
one.
is awesome. We're going to go to the tree lighting, and he's inflammable.
Oh, good. I can plug it in and not worry about a spark lighting
But
my
great.
pants
Those
on
ideas
fire.
of
Yeah, good. I'm
what's
glad
going to
of
be
it.
the most compelling and exciting way to not trick, but to compel your readers to
Exactly.
attend your event.
Exactly.
And we mentioned
And-
this before. We made it. It's worth a double or triple emphasis. Is images.
Yep.
Having images in your even using images to create a
Human
message.
beings we like pictures.
Right.
Yeah.
We relate instantly
And
to
images
pictures.
can be a little bit tricky, especially in an email. If your email is set to not automatically download images, then those images may not be seen
Right.
by the reader.
Right.
So there's a little tip on images themselves. When you're uploading an image into your email, you have the option to add the alternate text. Same thing if it's going on your website. You can put that little piece of text behind it that
Right.
says what it is.
Right.
So rather than the image saying, it's a generic term if it's a photograph. Actually, so for this particular image, we would say, stacked bricks of dark chocolate or something like that. So if I don't see your image, I'll at least see the text that tells me, oh, there's some dark chocolate. Now I might go ahead and download the images
That's right.
in your email. And that's going to show as being opened now. It's going to advance it to that if it didn't already. And now I'm going to actually see that image, which is then going to be clickable
Right.
to something else. It's
Exactly.
going to direct me as the link. So you want to use the images carefully,
Yeah.
but also assuming that it doesn't get loaded, what would they see in
Yeah.
that blank spot? So the
And you
images
said-
are super tricky.
Make images clickable.
Exactly.
Right.
Adding a URL link to the image to drive them back to your content, your website, whatever the
Your
call to
website,
action
right.
happens to
Right.
be. And you don't want the image to be too big. Again, you're optimizing for a mobile size
Yeah.
screen. If I have to keep doing this to read
No,
your
I can't figure out what it is. I can't see the forest for the trees, right?
right. Well, if it's optimized, it's going to shrink that image down to
That's
fit
right.
on your screen.
That's right.
But you don't want it to take too long to load when
Yeah,
I'm
that's
opening.
another critical.
That is
the
annoying.
Wait, and before you know
Right?
it, the X gets clicked.
Exactly.
I haven't got time.
Absolutely, always.
Now the thing is, we're talking about email. There's two things that bother me about this. Number one, in small business, time is precious.
Yeah.
And I mean, the bigger corporations expand, and they can hire staff or have people to work on email. You're the
Dedicated.
business owner. If you've got fires burning that you've got to
Not Cliff.
put out. Time is of the essence. Adrienne, is it a good idea to have to try to get an expert on this? Maybe not. I don't mean after hiring employees, but using an outside expert.
There's a couple of things you can do. I'm a big fan of pre-scheduling the emails, so you can create them in advance.
Yep.
We all know which holidays are coming, what day. They come the same time every year. You can pre-build that and schedule it, so you can get them kind of stockpiled and ready to go in advance.
No.
So the email that you might get this morning may have been created a month ago.
Sure.
Or last week or last night, who knows? So absolutely use the scheduling features of email service providers and pre-build them. And if you don't have time for that, then you can certainly outsource and hire a third party like myself or others who provide those services to manage
Well,
that
we all
for
know
you.
that Christmas is on December 25th
Pretty
every
much,
year, and
yeah.
we also know that now it's actually, the hype is actually starting sometime near Memorial Day.
Oh
I
yeah,
believe. It's-
Labor Day.
Yeah.
It's true. And now that's another issue of timing.
Yeah.
Right? So
Really?
I'll share an example. For my son is in elementary school. The last day of school was, a Tuesday. The very next day, I saw a commercial for back to school from an Office
Oh my
Depot.
goodness, yeah.
Like, they just got out yesterday.
See,
Seriously?
I told you. See?
So that was
So
that timing
I
was.
said Memorial Day. You said, yeah, they start Christmas.
It
No, I
was a-
meant Memorial Day. They'll
But we do see it sooner and sooner. And
it
there's, I
really
know
is.
there's reasons behind that. You want to get ahead of it. It's always, shop before, get all your shopping done
Yeah.
before Thanksgiving. But that's just not going to happen.
No, it's not. That's
And in all
ridiculous.
reality, what's very interesting, if we can use another example for while we're in the holiday season, I had gotten, the Black Friday, the Cyber Monday,
Yeah.
all these deals. So I got a couple of emails. It was promoting a subscription service where you can get videos and emails from Santa to your children. So during that whole hype week, they were trying to sell you on the subscription service. But the very next day, so now it was like Wednesday after all of that, Black Friday, Cyber, everything. Now it's like, hey, here's how you can get the free ones.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
Oh, you have a free service too.
How about
Great.
that?
Right.
I'll take
But
the
it
free
wasn't
one.
the upgraded one.
Yeah.
But it was just interesting to me.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that worked backwards. So don't feel like you shop ahead. Sometimes you get deals later, if that's our advice.
True.
But the content on timing is
Yep.
absolutely critical, and you don't want to overload. I had an example again, while you're in the holiday season, you're getting inundated
Clutter.
with all the Black
my
Friday,
God.
Black Friday, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, la la la
Yeah.
la la la, and they're all using that in their subject heading.
Yep. And you're clicking them off because there's just
Yeah.
too many to sit down. You'd take you 24 hours to read them.
Exactly.
Not worth it.
So that's one of those things that you can experiment with and measure and say, do I jump in on that and
Right.
join the flood, or maybe do something a little bit more creative and different? And
Right.
that could be where some folks are thinking, well, let's do our Black Friday on, Halloween and see those types of things and see what works.
Right.
It's fun.
Before we end this episode, I want you to repeat. You've been through it before, but it bears repeating. Is optimizing for mobile. That
Absolutely.
may sound like a buzz. I don't know if it sounds like a buzzword to you guys, but
Well, that's where the world is.
The
These things-
smartphone is the tool today, and so having a content that is easy to read and fast and recognizable is good. Is not good. It's
necessary.
mandatory.
Yeah,
Better
it's
be.
necessary.
Mandatory. Right, and you also mentioned this before, but consistent branding. And Coach, how many times you've talked about branding?
Integrated marketing communication strategy, fancy terms for consistently send the same communications message to your clients. 15 minutes will save you 15%.
Right.
What the Geico ad, at the end of it, that's what they say.
That's right.
Consistent messages, don't confuse your public, don't confuse your target audience, otherwise you're not going to do any business with them.
Right. And the same with the visuals.
Yeah,
Your website is your hub. That's your home base.
absolutely.
And anything that you build outside of that should at least reflect the same look and feel of
Look
your
and feel's
website.
important,
Your
right.
logo, the color scheme, and you
Yep.
can easily match those colors in any images you create.
Yep.
In tools I use Canva, which is a really easy to use graphic design tool for non-graphic designers.
Right.
They have built-in templates, but you can adjust those colors to be specific to your brand.
Right.
Same thing, PicMonkey is another one. You can
Yep.
drop text over your images.
Right.
Just making sure that it's immediately recognizable as you.
Like I
By the
said, it
way, you
takes
just said
2-3
a
seconds.
magic word to
Exactly.
me is that I had heard, a couple of years ago that, hey, with all the social media, websites are going to die. There'll be no, websites are going to be
I
obsolete.
don't know about that.
It's now it's a couple of years later, and I'm saying that was terrible advice.
Yes, and it still is terrible advice.
So I'm asking
you need
you
a
because
website.
you just said, a website is important, is key, and so the website is not dead.
Oh God, no.
And it's not going to die.
No.
Everybody jumps on whatever's new and say, this is everything. No, it's not everything. Don't throw, the baby out with the bathwater.
Right,
you
and
know?
that has come up. I've had some
Well, you
clients
had
that
the
say that. And
social media people. You could buy something through a social media site.
Sure.
You didn't have to go to the website, so the website's going to be dead.
But that's just one way, another way. And I have seen a few, it's a one-person entrepreneur who maybe has a product and they use Facebook as their main platform. Like, I don't have the money or the time to build and manage a website. I just use Facebook and I can sell my products and I can do this. But you don't own that.
No, right.
Right? At any time, Facebook can just wipe you off and you're
Right.
gone. And
And
what
so
did
is
we
your
also
business.
learn? You have people who like your page, and every time you post something, only about 2% of those people are going to see it based
Right.
on the algorithm.
Right.
So you're not really reaching everybody
So-
the way you would through
Absolutely.
email. Yes, they may subscribe to your email. Absolutely, they should. And they may also follow you on Facebook, and they may go right to your website.
So Adrienne says email plus website.
Yep.
Yes,
Or
that's
website plus
necessary. If
email.
you do only two things for your business, have a website and use email marketing.
You bet.
The end.
I agree.
Thank you for watching.
You're right. Thank you. Thank you for joining us, Fox Robbins, and we'll be putting episodes on YouTube, so you can easily find us at your convenience to watch this episode, the previous episode with Adrienne, or any other shows that we've done at your convenience. YouTube, in the search box, just put in one single word, Fox Robbins, FOXROBBINS, and click to your delight. And thank you for joining us, and we will see you guys next time.